There is clearly an increasing totalitarian wind blowing through this continent. And well, apart from this travel ban, I've also personally fallen victim to it just last year, receiving a notification from Apple saying that my phone is under mercenary spyware attack. So, you see, there is a trend here. Like, we have governments, we don't know exactly which one, or the EU, freezing assets of citizens, looking at me and you probably as we speak through this phone right now. Like, again, that is not what is supposed to happen in democratic societies, especially not when those people doing it are the ones who constantly trumpet that. So it's pretty bad over here. I'm really actually very concerned as to where this is heading.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the question. Where is this going? And we're in the very infancy of AI, supercomputing, the ability of governments to actually control their populations at the level of the individual in a way that no government has ever been capable of doing. And so if you marry bad intent to increase capacity for repression, you could wind up with an open air prison camp the size of a continent very quickly.
Yeah. That is exactly what is happening now to just a few individuals, but we don't know how fast this will happen to the entire continent. Maybe you guys have heard of the chat control proposal, right? That the EU wanted to enforce, which got shut down, but now they're trying it through another backdoor again. They want to basically be able to read all of our messages under the guise of preventing, child pornography, et cetera, from being spread. So they want to use, I mean, it's funny.
They're really worried about
up with the most.
Epstein's friends are really worried about child pornography. Okay.
Right. So, but AI is going to be used to do that. They are going to be scanning our messages to see if any of that material is being spread, or at least that's what they say. But it means that these unelected bureaucrats are reading all of your messages, essentially, have access to all of your messages. And I don't know when people are going to wake up to all of these pretexts, right, that are always being given. Just like Keir Starmer last week said that he wanted to ban X because of women's safety concerns, because Grok was making those bikini edits. Yeah, women's safety. But I mean, do we have to talk to the man about the Rotherham rapes and stuff? It's honestly, it's laughable, but it has real life consequences for real life people. And I think what you said about Europe turning into an open air prison is just right. That's exactly what is happening. But how do you escape that? That's the question that we all have. How do you unelect people that you've never elected in the first place? How do you get your rights back when it's just presented to you that someone has taken them away from you and they've granted themselves that power? Because that is exactly what happens here, and people feel defenseless in the face of it.
So what are the rules for speech in Europe, if we could get specific about this? Because I think it helps to understand why it's happening, who's doing it, if we understand what you're not allowed to say. So what are you not allowed to say in Europe right now?
Well, essentially, you are not allowed really to criticize the establishment. You are especially not allowed to talk about the replacement migration going on in Europe. If you say, look, we are soon, white people, the native people of Europe are soon becoming a minority in their own homelands, which is factually true. Like, before the end of this century, that's the case in most European countries, even before the end of the first half of the century, actually. If you say that, they're going to slap you with a hate speech crime. They're going to say that is hateful language, inflicting racial hatred, etc. So that seems to be the common denominator, especially talking about immigration and the effects of that, linking it to crime, which is obvious. You only need your two eyes to know that is the case. That's something that really seems to bother them.
So who is them? I mean, why? So clearly there is a very well organized, very well funded effort to eliminate the white population of Europe. I mean, because it is being eliminated and you're not allowed to notice it. You'll be punished by police and courts you pay for if you notice what's happening to your ancestors' homeland. So that's all just true. Yeah.
That's right.
Like, who is pushing this?
It's the question of all questions, right? But it seems that all of these leaders that we have, be it Keir Starmer, be it Ursula von der Leyen, be it Merz in Germany, be it Macron, they all follow the same playbook. They all say the same things, literally post the same things, in their communications to the outside world. They might focus on slightly different subjects here and there, but the agenda is the same everywhere. And it's the erosion essentially of our borders, of our nation states, of our heritages.
Right.
I don't have to tell you or your audience that. We all know it. The question is who's behind it? Honestly, I don't know. I can't answer that question. But what I can tell you is that the people who are rolling out these agendas are doing it out in the open in front of our faces, and they keep getting reelected. So I have made it my mission at least to talk about those people and target them specifically, because they are the ones that are in front of us, rolling this out over and over and over again. But it's very difficult to say.
So I don't know that much about Merz. I don't know Macron. His reputation is smart, is clever, and cunning, skilled politically. But I know a fair amount about Keir Starmer, and you will never convince me, at gunpoint even, that Keir Starmer is making independent decisions about the future of Britain. Just, you can't convince me of that. He's not adequate as a leader of a nation. He just doesn't have the basic qualities. He is taking orders. That could not be clearer, and I think it's clear to the British population. But you don't know who's giving those orders.
No, I mean, I don't know who's giving those orders. I think if we would know, it would be easier to stop this from happening, right? But that is, I think, part of the agenda, is that we don't exactly quite know who's behind this. Of course, we're fighting a very bureaucratic system also in Europe. There are, in the European Union, like tons of high government officials whom we don't even know by name, yet have billions and billions of euros at their disposal to roll out an agenda that goes against our interests, that literally wants to replace us, is crumbling our economy, and is essentially just destroying this continent. So, I mean, I've heard people say before that this is all part of fifth generation warfare, that it's part of the game, that you don't know exactly who your enemy is. And I think they want to keep it that way. But once again, it doesn't stop us from saying these people that we do see on television every day are bad, they're evil.
Yes, that's correct.
And we need them out of office, because that gives people at least, some sort of action that they can take, even though already that is difficult. And that's something that I hate to say, but in Europe, the majority still of your average Dutchman, your average Frenchman is not even aware of that. So we have a lot of work to do in that respect.
I think you make a really wise point. It doesn't matter whether they're the prison guard or the warden. They're still participating in an indefensible system, hurting and killing people. And that's evil. So, I guess that's all we really need to know. But it is frustrating when you see a coordinated effort like the one underway to eliminate white people. It's the biggest thing that's happened.
Very, and especially if you can't speak about it. Right. Yeah, it's the biggest thing that's happened in our lifetime. And especially if you can't speak about it without running the risk of being thrown in jail.
Well, 2026 is likely to be the year that some companies will find patriotism. They'll discover it. During the Biden years, corporate America thought hating our country was the thing to do, so they did it. Now that we're in a new era, they are coming back to reality. It's not real, though. It's a trick. They don't mean it at all. Black Rifle means it, and they've been doing it since day one. They're not just discovering patriotism. They were founded on the premise. As this country celebrates 250 years of existence, Black Rifle is brewing bold American roasted beans built for people who believe in the values that made America great. So kick off 2026 with roast made for patriots, not spectators. And for the new year, Black Rifle is launching cold brew coffee cans in just black and vanilla. Powerful, smooth, and made in America. Want something even more explosive? Try Grape X or Tiger Strike. Woo! Their new zero sugar energy drinks with 200 milligrams of caffeine. That's about half the output of a nuclear power plant. But it's clean energy for Americans who mean business. Visit blackrifle.com/Tucker. Use the code Tucker for 30% off. Or find Black Rifle at Walmart, Target, Kroger, wherever great products are sold. Black Rifle Coffee, veteran founded, America roasted. It's America's coffee. Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And by the way, you can hit the little bell on there and get notifications every time we produce a video. We hope you'll do that also.